clean and dirty, I don't align with it. I think putting those unhealthy labels on food is just going to create a problem that doesn't need to be there. So today I'm actually using Abbey's name for views here because I'm using this video that Abbey has done. Dietitian reviews clean and delicious high protein diet, 140 grams of protein a day, as a catalyst for conversation where I can actually speak about things related to nutrition, related to your goals. Despite not being a qualified nutritional dietitian professional, I'm going to tell you some bits and bobs that I'm going to present as opinion, which you can either adopt for yourself or tell me to go away because you don't like me. But before we do that, I'm going to say, if at any point throughout this entire video you actually just tolerate this video, or even actually learn something from the video, then I would very much appreciate it if you did consider subscribing to the channel, as it does help the channel out. It does actually mean a lot to me. It shows YouTube that I'm worth watching, which we both know is probably a lie, but YouTube doesn't need to know that.
Each of my meals, I'm aiming for about 30 grams of protein. I've tried 3 meals a day, I've tried 4 meals a day, and right now I'm playing around with 5 smaller meals a day.
I love this. And if you guys are thinking 30 grams times 5 meals, that's 150 grams of protein. Isn't that like way too much? Honestly, no.
Things that you probably don't need to stress too much about, because they're probably not going to be the make or break to achieving your goals, is going to be how frequently you get protein into your diet, because again, total protein at the end of the day is going to be the most important factor there. And the other thing is going to be meal frequency. No, you do not need to eat 6 times a day. If you hit your caloric requirement or your target, if that's what you're choosing to follow, eating 1 meal a day or 6 meals a day, that's all good. Sure, it's probably better to spread things out a bit more evenly across the day, same like protein intake and whatnot, but if it's a matter of hit your targets with 1 meal a day or miss your targets by eating 6 meals a day, go for the one that most conveniently allows you to reach your targets. Although, yeah, it may not be quote unquote optimal, is optimal if you can't stick to it. I always say the same with training. The best program for you is the one you can remain most consistent with. So well and good saying this program will get you somewhere in 8 weeks and this program will get you somewhere in 12 weeks, but if the 8-week program isn't sustainable and you can't finish it, it'll never get you there.
The control trial looked at 2 groups of women. Half of them had 3 meals in the day and the other half had 6 meals in the day. All of the women had the same amount of calories and macronutrient distribution, and the researchers found no difference in weight loss outcomes by the end.
Again, further enforcing the point of it kind of doesn't really matter how often you eat. It just matters how much you're eating in the grand scheme of things. And this actually goes into the argument of like daily calories versus weekly calories. A lot of people who are trying to stick to a strict weight loss goal, if that's what appeals to them, will often say like, oh, they've had a bad day, they've gone over by 600 calories, and then psychologically they'll use that as an opportunity just to kind of throw the whole week out the window. Say, well, I've ruined the day, I can't come back from this. But yes, you can. The thing that so many people neglect to realize is that it's not necessarily about daily calories, but weekly calories. If you have gone over by, let's say, 600 calories on a day, if you then go under by 100 calories on the remaining 6 days of the week, then your net weekly calorie goal, or intake I should say, evens out. Therefore, your average weight loss is going to be relatively comparable, because again, it's not about daily calories, think about weekly calories. Same thing if you're trying to bulk and trying to gain muscle and trying to kind of eat in a surplus and you're going under one day, just go over the other days. Honestly, do not allow a bad day, a blip, to kind of send you into this big spiral, because you can actually be a bit more flexible than you think.
Along with 1 scoop of creatine, and then I top that with a couple of tablespoons of steamed half and half.
The interesting thing there is firstly, protein and coffee. I don't drink coffee. Funnily enough, I've never actually had coffee in my life. Wild, don't come for me for that. But protein in the coffee, when people are trying to get their protein intake up, I do appreciate when people are trying to like find new ways to get protein in. Sometimes I do think they're overcomplicating it. When if you just want to be, simple but boring and potentially effective, a chicken breast, honestly, a good old juicy chicken breast, couple of those a day, you've got over 100 grams of protein right there. Bloody laughing. Don't get me wrong, protein shakes, sure, can be great. Some of them are actually quite nice, especially for what they are. Others, not so much. But I'd still much rather eat my protein if possible, which I know gets a bit harder when you're eating 250 to 300 grams a day. Would I put it in my drinks? Probably not. One thing I will note there, which I actually really did appreciate, is creatine. So many people, countless people online, have demonized creatine as it's going to cause all these horrible side effects. No, it's not. It's one of the most researched supplements on the market. It's arguably one of the most effective supplements on the market. And it's also one of the cheapest supplements in the market. It's bloody wild. Not only is creatine going to benefit you from a training perspective regarding your performance, like resistance training and whatnot, it's also going to benefit you from a psychological perspective, as studies have previously indicated that creatine can be quite useful or potentially have benefits when looking at mental health and combating things like depression and whatnot. So I think regardless of whether you're in the gym, training for just random life, or actually just chilling, creatine is probably not a bad shout. People say 5 grams a day. That's cool, that's a great number. I usually go 0.1 grams per kilo of body weight, which works out to like 11 to 12 grams per day for me. And that's how I run it. So not everybody needs the same amount of creatine, but 5 grams a day, every day, without fail, is probably a good starting point. Very quickly, link down below. You know, we got a few things. You've got the link to work with myself on a one-to-one online coaching basis, where I'll help you achieve your goals, whatever they may be, wherever you may be in the world. You've also got the link to the TFNL group coaching, which for less than $1 a day, you can follow a bloody good program I've written for either at home or at the gym, wherever you choose to train. And you've also got the link to the TFNL workout guides, which are pretty comprehensive and bloody fantastic workout guides that not only tell you what to do, but they also show you how to do it and tell you why to do it too, which to me, for their price, is bloody fantastic. So if you click the link down below in the description, you can have a gander for yourself.
And I like to use a little bit of the powdered peanut butter to mix with my chocolate protein powder if I want like a PB and chocolate kind of flavor. Also, I know that powdered peanut butter might be seen as like a diet food to some, but diet culture does not own certain food.
Interesting one too, actually. Abbey's promoting her supplement line. Am I mad about it? No, but a lot of people go into supplements. The other thing is I just don't think supplements are as relevant as you think they are. Sure, they have a time and a place, but I keep my supplements pretty simple. Protein powder, creatine, anything else that might tickle my pickle, like a carb powder and things like that for my calories. But for you, if you can get your protein through whole foods, that's fantastic. If you need a powder to help you get you there, choose one that tastes pretty good and one that you can digest well. You're bloody laughing. The second thing, I hate the concept of diet foods. I hate the idea of like certain foods are best utilized during certain periods of I'm dieting, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Food is food, man. Honestly, don't label things like that. We can if you want, but I just don't see it myself. If I want, so I'm eating many calories a day. I'm eating about 5,000 calories a day. Sushi gets labeled as a diet food because I love sushi. Honestly, I'll do some things for some sushi. I love it so much. And I was like, oh, it's a diet food because it's actually quite good for volume, low calories, things like that. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to eat it when I'm bulking. Sure, I'm not dieting, but if I want sushi, guess what? I'm going to eat some sushi. And do you know what I'm going to do with that sushi? Probably eat a lot of it and then complain I feel sick afterwards. Think about all the mistakes I've made, all the people I've upset, and all the sushi I may have missed out on if I really truly believed it was a diet food. Don't put labels on things. Honestly, just food is food. There's no clean food, there's no dirty food. People are going to come for me for saying that there's no clean or dirty foods. How do you define some? Some will say micronutrient-dense foods are clean. Some will say high-fat foods are dirty, but then avocado is really high in fat. Clean and dirty, I don't align with it. I think putting those unhealthy labels on food is just going to create a problem that doesn't need to be there, and it further emphasizes literally YouTube shorts I did maybe the other day, speak about demonizing foods. Ignore the idea of diet foods. There are some foods that are lower in calories, higher in volume that might be better for dieting due to the higher volume, but it doesn't mean you can only eat them when you're dieting. If you want to eat them when you're massing, you can eat them when you're massing. You just might have to eat more of them. Is that a bad thing? But nutrition doesn't need to be that complicated for most people. If you're not doing anything regarding your nutrition right now, doing something is progression. I always say to people, if it's safe and healthy for you to do so, tracking your calories is fantastic, and tracking your protein is bloody amazing too. If you just did those two things, you'll be doing pretty well. That's all I'll say, you're doing pretty well. I'm not a dietitian, I'm simply giving my opinion online for you to choose to consider or for you to choose to ignore. It's completely up to you. Until the next one, thank you for tolerating me. Thank you for tolerating the fact that I've used Abbey Sharp's name to basically talk about something that's more her realm than is mine. And thank you for tolerating the video.